Welcome back to Medinare. In this video, let's discuss about mechanics of tooth movement. We are not going to directly jump into the orthodontics part. Before moving on to that, let's discuss some basic physics. So let's start with the term force. Force can be defined as an act upon a body that changes or tends to change the state of rest or uniform motion of that body. So let's say this wooden box is the body that you're talking about, and this man right here is applying force in this direction over this body. Okay, until force is acted upon it, it will continue to stay in that state of rest or uniform motion. Alright, and let's look at these two basic terms, which are stress and strain. Stress means the force applied to something divided by the area it is applied to. These are not exact definitions. I'm just giving you one simple explanation to understand the concepts, the basics better. While we clean dishes, we apply force to the sponge. Force that we give externally applied on this object divided by the area. Okay, so stress is equal to force divided by area. So that is stress. And what is strain? Strain is nothing but how much something changes shape when stress is applied. So when we are applying stress like this, how much this body, like this sponge, responds to the external stress. The next one we need to know is the center of gravity. Imagine you have a scale. Okay, in childhood we all have done it. We would take a scale and try to balance it in one finger. And we all know we won't be able to balance it at every point, right? If we have the scale on our hand, we can only balance it at certain point. That certain point is called the center of gravity. For any free object which is not restrained by any force from any side, there is a point where the object balances around that point. If you try to balance it over here, it will fall from this side. Note this term, very important, which is not restrained by any force. So if it is not restrained by any force, even minute forces matter. But in our tooth setup, the center of gravity is converted into center of resistance. Why? I'll tell you. What is exactly center of resistance? It is defined as the point on the tooth when a single force is passed through it. Now here we saw that it is not restrained by any force. To make an object stay in rest, we should not give any force, right? Simple. So similarly, if there is no force acting on that particular object, it will not move. It will stay balanced at one point, that is center of gravity. But when force, the component force, comes into picture, that center of gravity is now changing into center of resistance. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Center of resistance is defined as a point on the tooth when a single force is passed through it. Okay, that point would bring about its translation, or you can also call it as bodily movement. Okay, bodily movement along its line of action of force. So, let's take this incisor. This marked point is called the center of resistance, this red one. Okay, they are telling that if we apply a single force through a point such that that force application along that point will bring that bodily movement. Okay, this whole tooth will move as a unit. Only the position of this will be changing from point A to point B. So it will move as a whole unit from one point to another point. So that is center of resistance. A tooth as a single unit has one center of resistance. And in some cases, like in fixed appliance, while we try to bring back the proclined incisors, we just tie all these incisors and connect it to the buccal tube which is present in your molar. This will be used as an anchor, and then using this, all the anterior tooth will move backwards. When these three teeth are tied together, are connected together tightly, then these three have one common center of resistance. If you want to move this whole arch, then we need to again attach the buccal tube and all your brackets. Okay, and then this, from this point A, it will move to point B as a whole unit only if force is applied through this center of resistance. Similarly, we also have center of resistance for one whole bone. Okay, for maxilla we have one center of resistance. Remember, in all dimensions the center of resistance is the same. So here are few examples of the center of resistance of different structures. For the single rooted tooth, it is in the midway between 1/3 to 1/2 of the root. What do they mean by that? Let's say this is the root, okay? And divide it into halves. This is 1/2 and this is the second half. And then again, if we divide this root into thirds, okay, 1/3 and 2/3. This is 1/3, this is 1/3 and this is 1/3. Okay, if we divide these root again into thirds, this center of resistance that we are talking is located somewhere between 1/3 to 1/2 of the root. Okay, we don't know the exact point, we can't tell the exact location of that center of resistance, but we can see somewhere approximately it is located here. Okay, so if we give force along this center of resistance, then it will move as a whole unit. And for multi-rooted tooth, it is 2 mm apical to the furcation. So again, let's go here. Here you can see this is the multi-rooted tooth and it is the furcation area, and here it is 2 mm apical to the, in the apical direction, it is 2 mm apical to the furcation in multi-rooted tooth. Okay, and for maxillary and mandibular dentition, it is apical to and between the roots of the premolars. And for the maxilla as a whole skeletal unit, it is located posterior superior to the zygomatic-maxillary suture or slightly inferior to the orbital point. So this is the orbital point. Okay, it is slightly present inferior to, like you can also have it over here. Okay, it is present slightly inferior to the orbital point, or it is also present posterior superior to the zygomatic-maxillary suture. We have two factors which affect the center of resistance. One is root length and alveolar bone height. How root length affects the center of resistance? Let's say this is a central incisor, this is your lateral incisor, this is your canine. Okay, as we discussed earlier, it is located somewhere between 1/3 to 1/2 of the root. So if we draw the line of action of force, this point has been transferred incisally, and here in canine it has shifted more apically. So in tooth with short roots, center of resistance is shifting incisally, and in tooth with long roots, the center of resistance is towards the apex. Then how alveolar bone height affects it? This is your alveolar bone height. Okay, this is the normal alveolar bone height, and for this the center of resistance is located somewhere around here. If there is bone resorption, in that case again the center of resistance is shifting apically. Let's come back to the same example that we discussed, balancing a ruler in your finger. So I said that here without any force, okay, I didn't mention any force. This arrow mark, wherever the arrow mark is present, it represents force. You are just balancing it. There is no force. There is no force at all. We know center of gravity is converting into center of resistance once the term force comes into picture. If given to center of resistance, it will move as a whole unit like this. But if not, if we are changing it to a point which is away from the center of resistance, then automatically it will start to rotate. It will start to rotate with one reference point. That rotation is called as moment. Okay, moment can be defined as the measure of rotational potential of a force with respect to a specific axis. So how should we calculate the moment? Basic physics again. Moment is equal to magnitude of force into distance. What the distance refers to? The dotted line here refers to the line of action of force. This distance refers to the distance from the center of resistance and the line of action of force. It is derived by drawing a perpendicular line from the center of resistance to the line of action of force. Let's say, for example, if the force is 70 grams, the distance approximately from the center of resistance to the line of action of force is 10 mm, then what is the moment? We have to just multiply and give the answer. It is 700 gram mm. So that is moment. For a body to remain in a state of rest, it needs a center point which is called as center of gravity. For a body to move as a whole unit, it requires a center point which is called as center of resistance. Similarly, for a body to rotate, for a tooth to rotate when force is applied away from the center of resistance, it requires a point as a reference point around which it actually rotates. That point is called our center of rotation. Center of rotation is a point around which the tooth actually rotates when a force is applied away from the center of resistance. So this is our original point and it is going to point B, C, D and E. So it will have this point, this green point as a reference point, that is nothing but the center of rotation. Now let's move on to couple. Let's say, for example, you're driving a car and you're holding a steering. If you're holding a steering and you give force in this direction, like you compress the steering, this is the line of action of force. If you give force along this direction, your steering won't move. So what you have to do? You have to give forces in opposite direction in equal magnitude. Okay, equal magnitude. This line of action of force will produce rotation in this direction and this line of action of force will provide rotation in this direction. So that's how we get couple. So couple is a pair of concentrated force having equal magnitude and opposite direction with parallel but non-collinear line of action. These two lines of actions is not going to meet anywhere. This is not at all possible. Even if it goes like this, they will always remain parallel. We give couple to actually derotate the tooth. A tooth which is rotated, okay, we will actually give that force, one in this direction, another one in this direction, to just derotate a tooth. We need couple. Now let's move on to the orthodontic part. Let's discuss about the types of tooth movement. We have tipping, bodily movement, intrusion, extrusion, torquing and uprighting. Tipping refers to a simple type of tooth movement where a single force is applied to the crown which results in movement of the crown in the direction of the force and root in the opposite direction of the force. If you are applying force palatally, then it will tilt, okay, it will go to or labial position. So you are giving a single force to the crown that is resulting in movement of crown in the direction of the force. So crown is moving in the direction of the force and the root is moving in the opposite direction of the force. Okay, that is nothing but the tipping. You are just giving force here only. Don't confuse this with couple. This image will look similar to couple, but you are giving only one force. In couple, we know we are giving two equal forces. Okay, two forces we need to give in couple, but in your tipping, you are just giving a single force and that is going to produce a reaction to whatever force you are giving. Then we have two types of tipping, which is controlled tipping and uncontrolled tipping, which is very important. Controlled tipping is where the crown moves in direction of the force and root nearly stays stationary or moves minimally. Okay, by controlling the amount of force, we can control the amount of tipping that is happening. In uncontrolled tipping, the crown moves in direction of the force and root moves in the opposite direction. I told you before that for a body to rotate, it needs a reference point, which is the center of rotation. That center of rotation will be at or very near to the root apex if there is controlled tipping. But in case of uncontrolled tipping, the center of rotation is present between the center of resistance and the root apex, the bodily movement or the translation. All points on the tooth will move at equal distance in the same direction. All points. Okay, this will move here, this will move here, this moves here, this to this point. So all the points on the tooth will move at an equal distance in the same direction. The crown and the root move equally. The force is applied through the center of resistance. Intrusion is the bodily displacement of the tooth along its long axis in the apical direction. Extrusion is nothing but the bodily displacement of tooth along its long axis in the occlusal direction. We are taking it out. For rotation, we need to do labial or lingual movements to a tooth around its long axis. Torquing refers to a rotational force around the tooth's long axis, especially controlling the root's inclination without much crown movement. In control tipping, we saw the root will stay in one position, only the crown is what that moves. But in torquing, the crown remains in the same position, but the root's inclination is only being controlled and that is only being changed. In case of uprighting, we have to change the mesiodistal direction of the tooth. Okay, the crowns of certain tooth will be tipped in mesial distal direction with the roots tipped away in the opposite way. Tipping these roots back to get a parallel orientation is termed as uprighting. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Do like this video and subscribe to Medinare for more. Thanks for watching.